So a couple of days ago, news broke out of Mandalorian and Grogu will be being released on, I believe, in May of 2026, which is great news. It's really cool, but there's a lot of confusion around that, involving Season 4 of Mandalorian. Is that going to be replacing that? I don't know. Another thing that I do want to get more into, and mainly the main topic of this video, is the new Jedi Order movie, because that was technically supposed to be the first movie that's supposed to be released. Now, the movie still could be released before the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, could be most likely after, but it's one of the things where I don't want this movie to be sort of scrapped, because I want it to still come out, and it probably will come out, maybe, I don't know when, but I feel like people have forgotten about it because this whole Mandalorian Grogu news sort of taking over everything, because, you know, obviously they're more popular characters than Rey is, which is kind of insane to think about, that a quote-unquote spin-off thing of Star Wars is the characters in it are more popular than the mainline trilogy characters, which is kind of disappointing but also kind of funny at the same time. But I do want to talk about the new Jedi Order movie because that's more important to me and also to Star Wars, because when you really look at Star Wars content over the last couple of years, ever since The Rise of Skywalker came out and Mandalorian came out, everything's been on Disney Plus. You know, whether you're live action or anime. Now, yes, there are video games and there are a lot of books, and that's sort of where Star Wars is at, where if you want to consume Star Wars, you either go on Disney Plus or read a book or buy a game that whatever few games there are out there, and that's basically it. And you know, that's kind of a problem with Star Wars is, you know, movie franchise. You know, the whole thing's built on movies, and that's sort of the main driving factor of the franchise. Like I said, the future of Star Wars should be on the big screen. And so with the new Jedi Order movie coming out, or I hope it's coming out, regardless of the quality of the thing, if it does, I don't care if it's terrible, I don't care if it's good. Just the fact that it's out will usher in a new era of Star Wars. Because in the past, most projects that released in the sequel trilogy time period were very restrictive. When we look at Resistance and the campaign for Battlefront 2, the DLC of it, both those projects were heavily restricted on what they could do, because they don't want an animated kids show that's airing on Disney Junior or Disney Channel, or a video game to be the first thing past the sequel trilogy or the Skywalker saga. They don't want that, and so they had to restrict it. They had to cancel Resistance, and they had to just limit the amount of levels in the DLC of the campaign. Because if you don't know, the campaign, the bonus DLC for the Battlefront 2 campaign was only like 3 missions long, really short. I don't know why it's just who knows why it wasn't part of the main DLC. Who knows why it wasn't part of the base game. I don't know why, but it was just 3 extra missions, and the reason why is because they just don't want that to extend past the trilogy. But with the new Jedi Order movie coming out, or the Rey movie, whatever you want to call it, when this comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if Resistance gets greenlit for a 3rd season, or further back beyond that. Or I wouldn't be surprised if we get games or shows set in the sequel trilogy time frame, or even spin-off movies that we used to get with Rogue One and Solo. I'd like to see spin-off stories like that aren't part of the main, you know, timeline, just spin-off stories. I want to see those as movies again, and for that to be part of the sequel trilogy, it could be whatever it wants to be. It's just supplementary material for the main stuff, and that's what I want to see again for the sequel trilogy time period, because that time period could be explored a lot more further, and just like with the Clone Wars show, it could make that time period more easy to understand and make it better for people who just don't like it. Now, that's a hard pill to swallow, because sequel trilogy doesn't really have a plan. It never really had a plan to begin with, and so it's much more harder to sort of do what the Clone Wars did to make the prequel trilogy in that scenario easier to understand, and for people to watch those films again and go, okay, I understand the story. That can't happen because, like I said, the sequel trilogy doesn't have a plan. Disney really bit themselves in the ass, just not really thinking about a plan. Like, they really screwed themselves over. And maybe Dave Filoni and someone out there who are working at Lucasfilm could make it all make sense, or for the most part make it make sense, or have something good. That is what I want in the sequel trilogy time period, is to have something that is good. because currently there is nothing that is good in that time period. In the Mandalorian time period, that, you know, the Mandoverse, that doesn't count. That's not in the Sequel Trilogy time period. That does not count. I'm talking about stuff that takes place in or around that trilogy, and there's nothing that is good in that trilogy, or that is universally good, which sucks. And I want one thing. That's all I want, whether it be a movie, a show, animated show, video game, you know, whatnot, because I'm not including books, because most people don't read the books. I'm talking about visual medium. I want something that is good, and that can't happen until the new Jedi Order movie comes out. So that's where I'm at, because as much as I like to have news about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, I am more interested in the new Jedi Order movie, especially with the Acolyte coming out, being like the opposite, or even the Dawn of the Jedi movie being an opposite of the new Jedi Order movie. That'll be interesting to see, and that's what I'm more interested in rather than the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, because that's just an easy cash grab, which it'll probably do well, but I'm more interested in what's not expected to do well, or what's against it, because I want the new Jedi Order movie to do well. Even though I said earlier I don't care, ultimately I do want it to be good, because that means there'll be more sequels and, you know, more content for that, because I like that. I want one thing to be good, and I'm still waiting on it. I feel like there's a small portion of the fandom out there that wants something from this trilogy, this time period, the First Order time period. I want something to be good, in the visual medium to be good, and one day we'll get it. I know one day, I feel it, one day. But that's gonna be it for me. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm gonna go now, so goodbye everyone.